Hello everyone. So today hold on. What was that? I know I should have done this review in parts like I did with Way of Kings, but I couldn't stop listening to it on audiobook. It was so good. Yeah, maybe a little warning would have been nice, you are right. But I didn't have the time to... Oh, I'm sorry. I'm talking with my fangirl Sprin. What was that? Oh, no, I'll tell them. No, I'll let them know. No, you're right. It's a good thing to warn them. This book destroyed me. Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. Hold on to your hats, folks, because this is a crazy one. Why am I surprised when Brandon Sanderson shocks me and amazes me and just dazzles me with his amazing powers of writing and authoring and fictitiousnessing? Spring. Because my goodness, I was still somehow amazed. Alright, if you didn't catch on for some reason, this is for Words of Radiance. I did a Way of Kings reviews. I had it in parts and I read like chunks, but the problem was it was killing me to take breaks. I hated it, so I put in Words of Radiance one day, just listening to it on audiobook, and I just never stopped listening. I thought about it briefly. Yep, and that's pretty much all you could have asked from me. So let's go ahead and start with the plot, because otherwise my thoughts are going to be all over the place, all over like a bunch of little sprin. There's no telling where this review will go. If that happens, you guys know me, okay? I can get pretty crazy. So at first, all the sporadic changes in POVs was a little jarring. I didn't love it. In the beginning, I kept telling Jordan, I was like, why does he keep hopping all these people I don't know? Like, just stick with somebody for 5 seconds. Like, I'm really struggling to keep up here. But honestly, I think we were just kind of spoiled with the first book, with the few POVs we had. They were very solid, and we kind of stuck with them throughout the entirety of the novel. And I think this is delving into what Brandon Sanderson is really going to start looking like for us, because he's not interested in telling the story from one point of view. He's not, because there's a lot of people involved. And I think Sanderson can do whatever he wants. He could write himself out of a million paper bags, but he certainly doesn't do things halfway. And truthfully, this story is so massive that now that I've completed the novel, I honestly believe the changes in point of views is really what will work best for this story in the end. It's very good for us as the reader to see everything from all sides, because I just have a feeling something very big is coming, and that's going to take a lot of build-up. We're talking about a world much bigger than Mistborn. Whatever's happening in this universe, amongst the Voidbringers and the Shardbearers and the Knights Radiant and every character in between, is huge, and it's going to just keep getting bigger. So I think it's really great that we get to see this build up from several points of view. Points of view. I genuinely don't know which one is correct. And I also kind of forgot that there was going to be 8 more books in this series. 10 in all. 8. Remember how I told you that always makes me nervous when the end of a book is like really scary, and it's like, uh-oh, bad things are happening, and then you realize, oh, we've got 8 more books left. So many things can happen. So many people can die. It was a very fun experience for me as the reader to see all my beloved characters come together. My heroes, Kaladin, Dalinar, Adolin, Shallan, like that felt good. It was a nice reunion, and you know these characters are just going to be so wonderful together. Already, in just this book, their chemistry is just fantastic. So fantastic. Seriously, he nailed it. Hit the nail on the head. These characters work together. They work very well together. You're never bored of any of the characters together. You're never like, oh, I want to read about Kaladin and Shallan, but I don't really care about Adolin and Shallan. No. No, that's not how this works. There was a lot of progression in this book. We have learned so much about the Spren and Shadesmar, I want to say is what it's called. Shadesmar, yeah. That's correct. That is correct. See, this is a very good example on why I personally think Brandon Sanderson is one of the best fantasy writers around. No, one of the best fantasy writers that has ever existed. Among the ranks of Tolkien, of Patrick Rothfuss, like that's, yes, I'm very sure of it. Because I don't think it's possible to write something entirely unique. That sounds like a negative thing to say, but it's just true. It's just true. It's not possible to write something that has no part in anything else that anyone has ever written before. That's just normal. That's no big deal. When I read a book, I don't look for something that is completely something I've never read. That's impossible. Everything derives from something. Everything borrows from something. Character tropes exist for a reason. You can't make new material, but you can take recycled material and make it unique. That being said, the religious aspects of this book, the world building alone, are just beyond me. Brandon Sanderson stuns me every time. He just cultivates these unique fictional worlds that, yes, are composed of ideas that we're very familiar with, but he brings them together and makes them something that feels new. It feels unique. If I had even just a pinky finger amount of his talent, I would be immensely happy. I am constantly in awe of his world building skills. This is something I feel like many writers, not just fantasy, young adult, otherwise, need to know. World building is huge. It's huge. And more people need to pay attention to it. Oh my gosh, the Ghost Bloods, I don't know what is going on. I have no idea. None. But they're gonna get crazy. I can feel it. It's amazing how full both of these books have felt. We're only 2 into a 10-book series, and it already feels like we're this close to the finale. There's still so much to see and learn and experience. I'm way pumped. It's crazy. Once you get into the Parshendi, it's amazing that they're so alien, you know? They have just completely alien aspects of their culture and of their language, but despite that drastic difference to what we are used to in just our lives and the lives of the characters that we've gotten to know, we still somehow connect and understand with the Parshendi. It's very well done. He managed to make them so alien, yet so familiar at the same time. Overall, plot-wise, I am immensely pleased and impressed. The action was very consistent in this one. If you didn't love the lack of action in the first one, and there was quite a bit, but there was also a lot of downtime, then you will be super pumped about this. Dalinar versus Szeth versus Kaladin eventually. That's my favorite part of the whole book, when Kaladin comes down and is like, no, man, these are my wins, get off and die. In that order. The 4 shard bearers against Renarin and Adolin and Kaladin. Oh my goodness. And they're not repetitive. He manages to write all these fight scenes just back to back to back, and you're never like, yeah, this one guy hit the other guy. I get it. Like, every single one of them is just so fascinating and fun to read. Now, I want to get into characters, because obviously, love the plot, if you didn't catch that somehow. Like I said, I'm really pumped about everybody getting together. And while everyone individually is still, like, my hero, I thought it was kind of interesting that this book kind of disillusioned you to our heroes. Like, we're starting to see the not-so-good side of them. Like, Kaladin was flawless to me in the first book. I don't know why. Maybe because we just kind of saw more things from his point of view. We saw less of the Light Eyes being good people and more of them being oppressive, especially from his point of view. But now, I'm just using Kaladin as an example, I kind of see that Kaladin's a little bit of a jerk. Like, he's a good man, but he is super unfair to some people. Just rude and violent. And I don't know, like, the interaction with Shallan before they, made friends, made nice, whatever, was just like, oh my gosh, Kaladin. Like, I know she took your boots, but dang, simmer down a notch. And it seemed very clear to me that Sanderson was trying to say something about Kaladin, which is that he is so against the prejudice of the Light Eyes against the Dark Eyes that he is very prejudiced against the Light Eyes himself. And you know, hate can breed more hate and it doesn't really make any progress. That's just an example. I felt like we got that view for pretty much every character. We got a little more of a gritty side of each character. Shallan kills a lady just like that with her awesome sword blade. I love Shallan. I love Shallan. I love Shallan. And it really is truly phenomenal how much we are discovering about these characters. There's so much room for more development somehow, even though Brandon Sanderson spends like an immense amount of time on each one. It's crazy because it's like there's no side characters. There's very few unimportant people just kind of standing on the sidelines. Brandon Sanderson doesn't really seem to believe in what I like to call rolling characters. I call them this because they're like wheels. You just set a plot device on top of them and then move it along. You know, like there's no characters there for the point of introducing other characters. There's no characters there for the point of just showing other sides of things. Like you get the Parshendi, but it's not just the Parshendi being the Parshendi. It's this girl and her relationship with her sister and all the crazy stuff that happens to get them to become Voidbringers and their language and their culture. Like, he doesn't really do things halfway. Now, there's nothing fundamentally wrong with these rolling characters. I mean, some books have them and they're fine. But Brandon Sanderson doesn't really seem to believe in them. He doesn't waste time on them. He just gets characters he wants and needs and uses them amazingly. Now, the introduction of all these pivotal characters and multiple characters really messed with me because it's like I said before, there's something so foreboding about this. Taravangian with his crazy genius, bouts of genius and stupidity, the Madman, Amaran and his correlation with the Ghost Bloods. Like, it's crazy to me that so much happened in this novel. It felt like it was so close to a finale, and we still have 8 books left, am I right? And all these pivotal characters with these crazy stories attached to them are coming in, and you just feel the storm starting to rumble. It's starting to build up. You feel something is coming, which is crazy, because the end of this book is nuts. It's freaking nuts. It's cashews and almonds and pistachios. It is nuts. So it's crazy to me that that's just like a second book finale. That's not like a big finale. Seriously, other authors could learn a thing or two about building up suspense. Because wow, the introduction of these characters is killing me, right? But even more interesting than these characters right now is their actions. Adolin killing Sadeas, that's crazy. Especially right after Kaladin decided that he doesn't get to pick and choose who he protects based on who he likes. I'm nervous. I was talking to my sister-in-law, Kyra. Hi, Kyra. And we are both very nervous about this, well, it's seemingly intentional contrast. It seems too perfect that right after Kaladin comes to terms with his, moral code and decides that he doesn't get to decide who lives and dies. He just has to protect people. Adolin goes and kills Sadeas dead. Adolin could very well end up a bad guy. I don't want it to happen, of course. He really gained my favor this book, so I really don't want him to be a bad guy. Like, I really don't want it. But it's feeling more and more possible. And it doesn't help that Kaladin and Shallan are making goo-goo eyes at each other every now and again. That makes me nervous. Not because I don't like Shallan and Adolin, or I don't like Shallan or and Kaladin, but because I just want Kaladin and Adolin to be friends. I want them to be friends, and I don't want anything to come between them. Is that so much to ask? I honestly, nothing might not come of Kaladin and Shallan, except I'm worried because Shallan doesn't seem to like Adolin that much. Like, she seems to, he's a cool guy, I'll kiss him every now and again, but she doesn't seem, like, entranced by him, However, once she starts to get to know Kaladin, you can kind of see her kind of intense. It's kind of sexy. You know how it feels as a reader when that starts happening, when the love triangle starts happening, and you're just like, oh no, it's coming. Oh, take cover. Oh, here we go. That ish makes me nervous. Anyway, I gotta move on from that, but I really want to hear what you think about that, because I kind of want both of them to happen. Like, I I mean, I like Adolin and Shallan. I kind of like that. I like that Shallan kind of brings him down a peg, like makes him stop being such a brat and makes him start being more of just a person. But I also really like the intensity between Shallan and Kaladin, and I also believe Kaladin deserves love. So, I don't know where I am right now. Oh my gosh, okay. So, a couple of my favorite scenes, I'm just gonna get to that. I'll go ahead and skip the part where I talk about Brandon Sanderson's writing, because obviously I adore it. Like, you've just heard me ranting about it for the past however many minutes. I'm in love. He's amazing. Everything he writes is golden. To me, of course. I mean, you could hate him, that's your opinion, but that's just to me. I'm just so constantly impressed by his skills. Seriously. He is a talented man. Yasna's death made me very sad, but then her resurrection made me very happy. I don't know where her and Wit are right now. Doesn't matter. Yasna's alive. That makes me happy because Yasna was like my favorite person, and then Sanderson had to go and kill her because that's just kind of the way, isn't it? But other than that, my other favorite part was when Syl reclaims Kaladin. So powerful when she becomes his weapon again, and he goes in and just kills Szeth dead, and that was just wonderful. It felt so good. There was so much justice. And Dalinar bonded with the Stormfather's Sprin. Like, I didn't see that coming from at all. From a million miles away at all. From a mile away. I did not see that coming. The most annoying part, oh man, Kaladin, I love Kaladin. He's probably my favorite character, but he drove me crazy. I can't believe he gave, what's his name, the shard plate and everything. Like, I remember just being like, Kaladin, why? Man, I could give my shard plate and shard blade to, I don't know, a number of really good men here. There's the guy who is constantly has my back, is good-humored and good to everybody. There's that other guy who has learned to respect me as the captain, is completely loyal and is good to everybody equally. Let me think. But who's the most unstable, hateful person in the group? Yes, you. Yes, you. I have a shard plate for you. And a shard blade. Yeah, no, just take it. It's yours. Try not to kill anybody. Am I right? Kaladin! Why? Okay, so I listened to this on audiobook. I was actually taking a trip. 12 hours there and back, so, you know, it was a good thing. It was a good thing to listen to the audiobook. It kept me just super excited and busy. So I want to hear what you think. I want to hear what you think about Kaladin and handing his shard blade off to, what's his name? I can't remember his name. How terrible is that? I want to hear what you think about Shallan and her backstory with her dad. That was crazy. And her brothers. Oh my gosh, like, there's not enough minutes in the world to describe just all the things I want to talk about. This book was just so filled to the brim with just excitement and information, and none of it was boring, and I was just excited and just breathless pretty much the whole time. And I just want to know what you think. I want to hear your theories. I want to know what you want and what you need. Baby, I got it. Yeah, that's what I want to hear, okay? Let's talk. Comment below. And if you haven't read these yet, oh my gosh, holy crap. Pause this right now, go to the store, go get a couple of books, because you, my friend, are in for a wild ride. Alright. This review is brought to you by Audible, the leading provider of audiobooks, fiction, non-fiction, Way of Kings, Words of Radiance, other Brandon Sanderson novels. I actually listened to one of the Mistborn books, an audiobook as well. Very well done indeed. It's literally hundreds of thousands of titles, guys. Seriously. I'm a big fan, alright? I endorse Audible because I use Audible, like, a lot. Now, Audible's doing this really cool thing because they love you and I love you. Like Syl loves Kaladin. Where if you go to audible.com/CashJ, again, that is audible.com/CashJ, you can download Audible for a free 30-day trial and download a free book. Now, I would have to recommend, since I'm on a Sanderson kick, I would have to recommend either Mistborn or Way of Kings. They're both very well done. I've listened to them both on Audible, and very well done. Very fun audiobooks to listen to, so I think you should give that a shot. What was that? Oh, I should probably stop talking. You're kind of rude. I don't like you. Go on, fangirl friend.